Welcome back to today's Air Force. Whenever a humanitarian disaster strikes, such as the earthquakes that have hit Japan and Haiti in recent months, the Air Force is there to get aid to the people who need it when no one else can. This is nothing new for contingency response airmen who've been helping save lives since the days of the Berlin airlift in the late 1940s. But these large-scale relief operations require a lot of moving parts to get food, medicine, and supplies where they need to go in a hurry. It's not the place for on-the-job training, which is why contingency response airmen learn the skills they'll need before they have to put them into practice. That's where exercise Eagle Flag comes in. Senior Airman Brad Sisson takes us to Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey to give us an in-depth look at this massive contingency response exercise that brought airmen from the East and West Coast together to learn how to respond quickly and effectively when a disaster strikes.
Guns under control, Geraldo!
From an outsider's perspective, Eagle Flag is just like any other exercise. Long hours, mind-numbing repetition.
You do that one thing over and over and over again, it gets really monotonous.
Peppered with a few surprises.
The cadres are real good at any given moment throwing some sort of battle scenario. Someone gets hurt, you're missing cargo. Just different types of scenarios that keeps you on your toes.
But unlike your typical wing level exercise, this one is directed by the Chief of Staff of the Air Force.
Eagle Flag these days is a joint exercise with the Air Force forces and Army forces that come together to open a base and practice a joint task force port opening, and we can roll from that to a handoff from that organization to a air expeditionary group.
It brings experienced personnel from specialized units across the military.
You make your way over to Oscar and find out his status.
Training in a very real environment at a high operational tempo, similar to the relief efforts in Haiti and Japan. But opening an aerial port is just the tip of the iceberg. Airmen and soldiers working in a joint task force opening will bring in life-saving aid.
So our job here is to work with the local government and the Nassauian Air Force, and what we're doing is we're actually taking relief supplies and aid, bringing it off the airplanes, pushing it to a forward node that is run by our Army brethren, and then they are in turn turning it over to a contractor who takes it out to where it's needed out in the country of Nassau.
The scenario may sound very familiar to Haiti and Japan. Eagle Flag is designed that way. It takes lessons learned in those disasters from the men and women on the ground and applies them to training scenarios.
That enhances the exercises mostly for the other participants because they could be out here with a fellow airman or soldier who hasn't had that type of experience, and they can talk about it and relay their real-world experiences.
Those experiences are shared by airmen like Senior Master Sergeant Michael Courtney. He's one of the many participants in Eagle Flag who have deployed to countries like the Dominican Republic to aid in relief efforts.
This helps us train and equip ourselves for instances like Haiti. When I deployed out there I went to Dominican Republic, and it tied in perfectly because we set up the exact same scenario that we're running here.
That experience makes him a valuable asset to his unit and his airmen, and he's not afraid to share it.
Basically, he has a hard edge, soft approach, if that makes sense. Not saying always be a hard edge, but he's very approachable, and a lot of times when you're running the senior NCOs, you don't really know how to approach him, and he makes it easy, very easy to approach him.
This type of close interaction with his airmen is something Sergeant Courtney rarely sees at home station.
When I joined, I loved what I do out on the flat line. I don't all the time get that, day-to-day mission sets in garrison. I'm tied up with EPRs, meetings, decorations, administrative issues. And when we get to come out in the field, it's actually a really good time because then I get back to my roots.
He's ready to go out and roll out with you. So anytime he's slinging chains, building cargo, anytime he can. And I know he likes it.
This is a joint task. Airmen and soldiers working side by side.
We train with them just as if we went to the real world out with them, and that helps because we have that rapport when we go out and do these exercises.
And this is what happens in the real world, putting these airmen and soldiers together because that's what they'll see down the road.
I'm comfortable with what I'm doing.
Individual troops may not always see the big picture.
I'm playing a part.
But Eagle Flag allows these soldiers and airmen to see their jobs complement each other and impact the mission as a whole.
The major part of it is for us not to get backed up. We get backed up, distribution gets backed up. So we kind of like try to help each other out. It's a bunch of teamwork right here. That's what it's all about.
We couldn't do it all. We couldn't do it just by ourselves, and I'm sure they couldn't either. You know, we got to take everything off the plane, and they're the ones that got to get it out to the forward node or to the distribution point.
It's always nice to have extra people to do a job, but it can take some getting used to.
You know, working with Air Force a lot, you know, you get set in that trend. And then when you work with the Army, it's a whole different ball game. Basically, got to learn their lingo, how they operate. Basically, after that first couple hours, we're right in there.
And just as these troops are learning to jump over some of the hurdles associated with working in a joint environment, Eagle Flag throws another layer of realism at them.
مرحبا شباب كيف حالك؟
Role players from all walks of life portraying host country nationals.
And most of my time I worked with mission essential personnel since 2007. I have done a lot of scenarios. And most of my work is here at Joint Base Maguire, Fort Dix, Lakehurst, and I enjoy my work very much. Me no understand.
Meet James Mualam.
Okay, you hear me better now?
He's been around the military his entire life.
Everything delivered, madame.
Born in Lebanon in 1962 to an American service member, he is now serving today's U.S. military.
You can pay me, I go deliver.
He's a nice guy with a sense of humor.
Word manufacturer, I don't know how to spell.
But for Eagle Flag, he's portraying something very similar to a shady used car salesman. During the exercise, James is in constant communication with the deployed contracting office.
What do you mean, no understand?
They are wheeling and dealing to get basic supplies for the aerial port.
You let fuel run on dirt. I strive on pressure. No spill kit, we no care in this country. When I'm under pressure, I enjoy it and makes me better. You have a beautiful cloudy day today. It's cloudy. And to me, when I'm on the phone, I'm under pressure. You know, I yell at my employees, I make them work harder.
James may play a small role in the exercise, but he's preparing troops to save lives.
Because you need a lot of money, madame. You need suitcase money. I'm honored to work with our military and be part of bettering our troops. Above my flag is silver, mine gold. Migo America.
All exercises prepare airmen for their job, but Eagle Flag goes a step further. It gives these service members a glimpse at how their work impacts other people's lives.
I like what I do because I'm helping others. And that's really what it's all about. Helping others. Making sure the others are being taken care of.
As Eagle Flag comes to a close, each contingency response wing heads back to home station. But although the units are separated geographically, they're united by their shared experience. Their lessons learned will better prepare them for the next crisis.
Whenever you get on the plane, or take that long bus ride back home, you can look back and say, wow, I actually did it.
It's all in a day's work for Specialist Glassby.
It's another mission under your belt.
But the skills he learned here could someday save people's lives. From Joint Base McGuire-Dix, Lakehurst, New Jersey, I'm Senior Airman Brad Sisson.
That does it for this edition of Today's Air Force. You can check out more stories made by airmen for airmen by visiting the Air Force's official website at www.af.mil. For all of us here at Today's Air Force, I'm Staff Sergeant Nicholas Kurtz. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.